I know, guys, how much you have struggled to find the right words while speaking English. And for that, I'm going to introduce you to the rule of threes in this class. So this is a simple and effective technique that will help you sound fluent and confident in English instantly. And the best part, you can apply it in everyday conversations starting today. So let's dive right in. So let's start with the golden sentences, your lifeline in conversation. So these phrases are very versatile and it will help you to keep your conversation flowing while giving you the time to think. When someone asks you the question and you're unsure of how to answer, so these sentences are going to buy you some time. It shows that you are thoughtful and not rushing to answer, which makes you appear confident. So if someone asks, should we plan the meeting for Tuesday? You have to reply, let me think about it. I'll confirm by evening. What happens and how it helps? This shows that you are considering the question and need time to check your schedule without sounding unsure. So if a friend asks you, hey, want to join us for dinner tonight? You can reply, let me think about it. I might have a prior commitment. Instead of declining outright or answering without checking, this answer is polite and leaves room for flexibility. Golden sentence number 2. That's a great question. When someone asks you something unexpected, this sentence buys you a few seconds to think. It also shows that you value their input, making the conversation more engaging. Let's look at some real life examples. So if someone asks, why do you think people enjoy learning languages? You can reply, that's a great question. I think it's because languages help us connect with new cultures and people. You see how I bought a few seconds to think. That's a great question. So I started with, that's a great question. I think it's because, so you see here, I am buying the time. When I paused after that's a great question, and when I again took a pause after saying, I think it's because, so I've taken 2 pauses to think. It makes you sound thoughtful while giving you the time to organize your answer. Another example, in an interview. What's your biggest strength? Right. So you can reply, that's a great question. I'd say my ability to adapt to new situations quickly. I'm again repeating, see, the way I answered, what's your biggest strength? You say, that's a great question. I'd say my ability to adapt to new situations quickly. So it adds a layer of professionalism and shows your confidence in the answer. Golden sentence number 3. Can you explain that a bit more? This question keeps your conversation going, especially when you want the other person to share more details or you don't fully understand. It shows curiosity and makes you sound engaged. Now it's time for some real life examples. Okay, so if someone asks, I recently started learning photography. Your reply could be, photography. That sounds amazing. Can you explain that a bit more? Or we can also say, can you explain what inspired you to start? Asking the explanation instead of ending the topic inspires the person to share more details, and that makes you a good communicator. Again, if someone shares, I'm working on an exciting project at work, your reply could be, that's great. Can you explain what's so exciting about it? Can you explain what's so exciting about it? Again, we are asking for explanation. We are asking the person to explain what he said a bit more. This shows genuine interest and encourages the speaker to open up, creating a positive impression. Now let's talk about improving your vocabulary. Instead of trying to learn hundreds of words, you can focus on groups of 3 that are related. This method helps you remember the words faster and use them effectively in conversations. Group 1, feelings. Why feelings? Because talking about emotions makes a conversation personal and relatable. So here we have 3 words: happy, nervous, excited. Let's see one example with happy. So you can say, I am happy to meet you today. This sentence creates a friendly and warm tone, perfect for introductions. With nervous, you could say, I'm a little nervous about the presentation. Sharing emotions such as nervousness makes you relatable, especially in a professional setting. With excited, you could say, I'm excited to start this project. So using excited makes you sound positive and enthusiastic, which is always appreciated. Now, group 2, and it's time. Why time? Because they are used in almost every conversation. And for this group, we have 3 words again. Now, later, before. Now, let's see one example with now. Can we discuss this tomorrow? I'm busy now. See how it helps. Why this question is important. It sets boundaries politely while keeping the conversation open for another time. But before, you could say, I've never tried this before. So see, this is a great way to introduce a new experience or curiosity for learning something. I have one more example with before. So you can say, let's finish this before we take a break. So it's a clear and professional way to suggest a plan. Let's see one example with later. A very nice one. This I think you have used earlier. So can we discuss this later instead of tomorrow? You can say, can we discuss this later? How about we discuss this later? Let me share you these details later. See, okay, I've shared a lot of examples, but how this is important. Again, it's setting the boundary and it's keeping the conversation open for another time, as we have seen it similarly for before. Group 3, actions. Why actions? Because they help you express what you are doing or trying to do. And here we have 3 words for you. Try, learn, practice. Let's see one example with try. You could say, I want to try speaking more confidently. See, I'm repeating this once again. I want to try speaking more confidently. Using try shows effort, which people respect. Now, with learn, you could say, I'm learning how to improve my pronunciation. I'm telling it once again. I'm learning how to improve my pronunciation. See, so sharing that you are learning something shows a growth mindset. With practice, you could say, I need to practice these phrases every day. I need to practice these phrases every day. So using practice in your sentence emphasizes your dedication and inspires others to do the same. Now that you have the sentences and the vocabulary, let's tie it all together to create a 3-step framework for handling conversations effectively. These are the tips for which you are definitely going to thank me later. Write it down. So, listen to a person carefully. Don't rush to reply. Instead, repeat a word that the person has used. That shows that you are all ears. You are focusing on what they are saying. So if they say, I love traveling, you could say, traveling. That sounds amazing. Where was your last trip? So see, it shows that you are paying attention and it encourages the person to share more. Next, you have to keep your sentences short and clear. You have to stop overcomplicating your thoughts. So instead of saying, it's an incredible experience that left me speechless, you could say, it was amazing. I loved it. Or instead of saying, I have several activities planned for the weekend, you could say, I have a busy weekend planned. Simplicity makes your message easy to understand. Use questions like, what do you think? Why do you say that? To keep the conversation alive. For example, what do you like most about your job? See, it's an open-ended question, and I always encourage my learners to ask open-ended questions. It keeps your conversation going. It makes you seem genuinely curious and invites detailed answers. So that's the rule of 3. 3 sentences, 3 words, and a 3-step conversation strategy. Start practicing today, and I promise you will improve in no time. Remember, fluency comes with consistent practice. Let me know in the comments how you are planning to use these tips. See you next time.